Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Antzu titled Love of My Life. And if we switch over to here, we have it on YouTube and we're going to listen through it from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Really pretty with the keys, to be honest.
Where are you from? Love of my life. As you were most beautiful, we met in this world, raining red dust. You belong to me. Don't belong to me. All the encounters and parting come of fortune and die of regret.
It's very intimate, isn't it? With the vocals and the piano here.
Where are you from? Love of my life. You are my dearly beloved. I turn to look back. Ashes and dust. How can I let go? Love of my life. Every encounter in life consummates my wish. How can I let go? This unrequited love. Every departure in life is hazy remorse. Where are you going? How to leave you behind?
It's actually really gorgeous with the strings. Like, I'm trying not to interrupt, but I just want to point out that the strings, there's that layer on the sides there, is just a fantastic way to develop a track where the story's like intriguing. But then you have that extra there. The vibrato of it, you know, that the weight of it is evident.
Where are you from?
I love that cello, man. It's fantastic.
My life. My lingering reminiscence summons up the ghost. It's you or me, whispering lightly, future and past never have changed. We only present, smiling at ease, swirling smoke, castles in the air. Where are you from? Love of my life. I look back, city on fires. Why should I go through just to love you again? How can I let go? I wish. How can I let go? This unrequited love. Every departure in life is hazy remorse. Where are you going? How to leave you behind? Where are you from? Love of my life. I look back, city on fire. What should I go through just to love you again? Where are you from? Where are you going?
Cool. All right. How do I say this? I think that at 6 minutes, if they had tried to do anything more with the concept, it would have been too much. They found the right spot to say, where are you from? Where are you going? That question there at the end is really classy. But I feel like after we had we'll talk about this more in the conclusion. Actually, we'll just go there now. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Antzu, the ballad version titled Love of My Life. Now, I think this track is about someone who, you know, they fell together from the stars, you know, they were one of a kind. There was this intense desire and adoration for each other that eventually, and it seems to have fizzled out, or it's very one-sided, like the person's left, and Antzu is very unhappy about that. They really miss this person, you know. They really miss this person, and they long for how things used to be. And the ghosts, they're reminded, and the ghosts come up and everything like that. And it's a very kind of visceral experience for them at the moment. As most kind of separations are, they're incredibly difficult when you can't love someone the same. It hurts, and the feeling of pain is communicated really proficiently by Antzu throughout this track. You start quietly, but then as we get further, especially when the piano and the strings start, getting louder and louder, and you just have this barrel of intensity with the way the words are sung and portrayed. There's voice cracks. There is a lot of emotion expressed within this that I think is very organic and authentic and believable, and it's part of what kind of carried me through this track, is hearing Antzu discuss that. It was very intimate, and I appreciate the strength and the beauty of being able to communicate and express that. We had solid vocal technique. We were comfortable in our range there. We had an interesting way of doing a little kind of rise at the end of some of the sections, like a break and go da ba bum. Like we went up at the end of those notes and such. And I like the fact that we told a story with lyrics that were, because Antzu apparently is a poet singer, so it makes sense that the lyrics are quite poetic, but communicated the words in a way that made sense for what they were trying to assign, both figuratively and literally. So it's really good. The track at 6 minutes is long, and I'm not typically kind in these situations when there is like a repetition of a theme throughout that period with not a lot of variation there, either instrumentally or structurally. But I think with this one being sort of through composed, it was about the focus on the singer, Antzu, and this way that we develop things slowly. Like there were changes instrumentally. Like we initially started with the piano and these interesting arpeggios on the right hand with the left hand forming the bass line. And then Antzu came in relatively early onto the piece, and then around like the minute and a half mark, we had the strings start to come in, and then maybe it was the 2.5 mark, but we had this weight form from those. We started with some of the higher registers, and then moved down towards the cello and the lower regions there, and we had a bit of a bell curve there where the loudest kind of increased in that 3 or 4 minute mark there, where things got a bit heavier and a bit more intense, and then we came back down again at the end there. and refined ourselves and focused and left and then finished out. And I think that's totally okay. That's what I think made it palatable for the 6 minutes, is those slight variations. We could have potentially had more. I don't know if it would have necessarily improved the experience, but either way, I'm glad that we had that, because I feel like if we hadn't had that adjustment with, again, adding the strings there as a different instrument, if we hadn't had variations in loudness, this piece wouldn't have been as effective. So that was good. Chord progressions within the main theme there were, chock-a-block full of romanticism. They were full of these major and minors there, very few uncomfortable situations, unusual intervals or anything like that. A lot of it was really kind of like, you could understand why people were doing it when they were. It was satisfying when we looked back into itself there. There was a bit of tension on held notes occasionally, but then we came through, and it's kind of our tempo potentially where we allowed ourselves to not sort of stick like robotically to a click track, which I appreciate. But again, the performance from the singer was tight to the rhythm of the piano and string parts when they were there, with the strings clearly being more of sort of like a whole note legato phrasing rather than the keys being individual bits. But ultimately, I think the theme was pleasing and calming, and despite the pain that the person was in singing and the way they sort of like declared that, things rounded out at the end in a way where we kind of ended up with a sort of a sense of melancholy, and it was kind of, I got to respect that. It's not too on the nose either way. I think that's part of what makes it beautiful. So I think that the theme matches the lyrics and the and the vocals, and the instruments do that justice. It makes sense for the setup we've got. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering, I thought it was quite good. For me, the vocals could have potentially had like a tiny little bit of reverb just to help them sit in the mix a little bit better. Maybe like down like 0.2 or 0.5 dB. But it's just a very minor thing. Like, just because I could hear some of like the breath sounds and stuff like that. But it's just me being pedantic, And I know that I've not got $1 million studio here where I record stuff. It's just being transparent. The strings and the piano were really well leveled though, and ultimately I think it's when things built up that decision made sense. So like when things became louder with the keys and the strings, like the music was huge and it surrounded you, so at the same time, while I was saying that the vocals could have been a little bit lower, it was allowing for a sense of, I liked the dynamic range within this piece. I liked the way that things were niched within this frequency spectrum, with like the strings in the different areas of the mids to lows and highs, and such, the piano cascading throughout, the vocals in their range the whole time to maintain presence. Things are nice and wide in the stereo field there. I think we had strings on different sides, and the pianos were cued with like the left and right and stuff. It'll be opposite for you guys, but you know what I mean. And then the vocals were in the center because they were the focal point. But the track was still nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting was handled. I mean, effectively, this is my review of this track from an act named Antzu, titled Love of My Life, the Ballad version. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via the various social medias and YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.